Welcome to .x2 Champagne and Conversations. How are you, sir?
Hey, I'm great. I'm glad to be here. You know, it's a nice day. I'm down here in Raleigh, so it's a nice day. Everything is good. You know, I'm here.
Oh my gosh, did you say Raleigh? We're going to cheers to that before we even start because I
No question.
love North Carolina.
No
I love
question.
it. Well, awesome. The weather is good there.
Oh yeah, it's nice today. You know, I still miss New York. I'll be back up for Memorial Day week. You know, I'll be back up for about a week, but it's nice. It's nice.
Yes, I love Raleigh. Very progressive opportunities there for the black and brown
Oh
communities.
yeah.
Very, very culturally cool, I
Yeah,
guess, if
definitely.
you can say something better than that. People are real cool there. So I do enjoy, I lived there in the 90s.
Okay. No
Yeah.
question.
So that was real cool. And I met a lot of New York people leaving New York, coming to North Carolina, to
Oh yeah, I
Raleigh.
met a lot of people that's down here. Plus, you know, my mother's side of the family is from North Carolina, and my
Okay.
father actually, and then New York and Harlem. But my mother's side is from Tarboro originally. So, you know, I got family down here.
Yes, yes. That is, yeah, definitely the place that I actually said I would love to retire and be. So we'll see how that goes. And the weather is gorgeous.
Yeah, well, you know, it was kind of shaky for the past couple of days, but looked like it's trying to turn the corner. You know, I welcome it. It's springtime, so I welcome the spring weather, and hopefully it'll stay this way for a minute.
I know spring weather. We so ready for spring weather,
No
right?
question.
Yes. Spring weather and to get outside
Oh
again,
yeah, definitely. Get
literally
outside again.
outside.
Start the
Yes,
world back moving again. Hopefully.
absolutely. Now, you said go back to New York. Do you have plans to start any kind of tour, or what are you thinking in terms of going back to New York at this time?
Well, I mean, it's starting. You know, it's starting to be fearless for shows. They're still in the process of trying to make trying to make safe shows, socially distant safe shows. We got an offer so far for July in Freeport,
Okay.
Long Island. So they're coming around now. I think the venues, the challenge now is for the different venues to put together a plan where they can actually have shows and it still be socially distant and still be able to they still be able to under the guidelines and under the laws have a show.
Yeah, absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, we welcome Sadat X of Brand Nubian, who we know and love so, so much. 90s was that era for me. Hip hop music was everything. And we are so excited to have you on the show today, Champagne and Conversations. I will say that my coffee time this morning, I had to make an adjustment on our conversation. So
All right.
pardon me. But ladies and gentlemen, Sadat X has a wine, and nothing better for us to do but to discuss that with champagne and conversations, right?
Definitely.
So so we got to talk about it. I need to know everything. I need to know the inspiration. I know you
Okay.
started it in '09. Um, but I need to know the inspiration. I've read all about it, and I need to know the blends that you have when we're going to an activity. I need all of that.
All right. Well, actually, it all came to start like I would say around '09, the winter of '09. Me and my partner Will Tell, we used to record. And Will Tell is a well-known producer from Brooklyn.
Yeah.
I was still in Brooklyn at the time, so we would record in his basement. And usually we would drink Hennessy. And you know, if you know about drinking Hennessy and those other types of things, too much of that'll come down on you. And actually, it was a snowstorm that day, and nobody felt like walking to the liquor store. So he happened to have a bottle of wine downstairs. It
I
was
love it.
I never forget. It was called El Gato Negro, and I drank it. And for some reason, he filmed it and put it out, and people liked it. You know, because what we would do is drink the wine, laugh and joke about it, and
Right.
you know, we did that for a while, where people, different wine people, start sending us their wines. So we
Okay.
would get, wine from different perspective winemakers, and we would do a spoof on it, drink it, say whatever, pair it with whatever we thought would be paired with, and the unconventional pairings, not the stuffy pairings that's often associated with wine drinking. And we did that for a while. One day somebody hit us, Gino Rossi, who actually is a winemaker who had a vineyard in Pennsylvania, and he was like, "If you guys are ever serious about making wine, come see me." So we went and saw him and toured the vineyard, learned about the wines, the
Nice.
processes, the grapes. Saw an actual wine come into being, and he gave us our first wine, and as opposed
Dope.
to us being rappers and just slapping our name on a bottle or something, we actually had a hands-in process with the wine. So
Love it.
he taught us the nuances of wine, and we started making it. We started going to these wine spectator events, and it was meant twofold. A lot of people, welcomed the change, and then you had the stuffy wine world, the snooty wine world that thought wine drinking was such a thing that
It
you
is a
couldn't have
thing.
fun with it. But our
But
main
you do
thing is,
have
is,
fun.
is to have
Yes.
fun with it. And
Yes.
like I said, people of color do drink wine, and it is people of color that are making
Absolutely.
wine. Definitely.
Absolutely. Yeah, we probably are high consumers of that as well. Wine is so necessary.
Definitely.
Yes. So that is awesome. And in that you all took a liking to it. So not only, as you stated, putting your name on it, you actually wanted to get more into the development of the wine.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like we've had wine that's sourced out of California. We've had wine sourced from the Finger Lakes. We got this champagne right now that we made. That's the True Wine Connoisseurs. That's actually me and my partner Will on the cover. And this is actually from Trevisto in Italy. That grape was sourced from there. And if you notice, we have these two characters. So wherever we would get a wine, if we
So cool.
like we had some wine from Venice one time, so it showed me and my partner in the gondolas, those boats. And somebody had told us at one point that we would never be able to sell with this on it, with this label. Like we had to make a more generic brand, and we tried that. But the people that love wine and other people involved, they were like, "Nah, keep your wine label. That's your identity." So
Yes.
we kept the wine label, and it's been a struggle. For the first couple of years, we struggled, but during these last 2 years, I mean, we've picked up distribution now. We're in the
Awesome.
tri-state area.
Congratulations.
We're able to ship it out nationwide now, and working on getting it down in the South. The South has different type of commissions sometimes, so we're
Yes.
trying to break into the South. But like I said, we've only been at it for 10 years when throughout history, wine companies have been around for hundreds of years. So 10 years, and we still going. This basically last year was the first year we made a profit. So
All
that felt
right.
good. You know
Okay.
what I'm saying? That
Oh,
felt good to finally actually get some money back from what we put in. And
wait. Yeah. Now
we're going from
wait.
there.
Last year, 2020, you made a
2020,
profit?
yeah.
Gotta love it. Got to love it. And we
Definitely.
know that that was the COVID year, so that's
Yeah.
awesome. Although all of the rates were probably extremely well,
Yeah. We do
profit
also
wise.
we have a wine page. It's at True Wine Connoisseurs.
Yes,
You
yes.
might have to get a dictionary to spell out connoisseurs, but it's
No,
at,
true
at
wine
True Wine
connoisseurs. Okay,
Connoisseurs. And
okay.
we'll ship it out to you in Brooklyn. We're at Happy Cork in Brooklyn, and they'll ship it out for you. So we are making for means of expansion.
That is so amazing. And I love the fact that you guys have stayed true to what it was that you actually wanted to design, and you were able to actually get that out. That's amazing. Now, I saw that you all are testing an orange blend. How did that go?
Oh yeah, well, definitely, that's coming along. Like I said, we've had the champagne, we've had a red, we've had a white. You understand? So we've definitely played around, with the blends. And like I said, like my partner actually will tell. He became a sommelier from this.
I
You
saw
understand?
that.
A
That
real
is,
live
I love that.
sommelier. We had a write up in the Times. And like I said, I'm not an expert on it, but I'm still learning. And my partner Will tells us sommelier, and we just making wine, man. That's good wine to have fun and not be so stuck up and snooty. And you can go somewhere for a cookout and have this, or you can pair this with a slice of pizza or a cheeseburger. You know, like whatever's your flavor,
I
you
love
know,
it.
it's a pairing.
I love it. The energy behind it is what will make it awesome to the 10th power for sure.
Exactly.
And the fact that, as you stated, it can go as a household everyday staple as opposed to, for a special occasion or something of that nature. Um,
Exactly.
but now, as it related to you guys coming up with the brand True Wine Connoisseurs, was there an influence from there?
I think we'll just pick that out, and like I said, I would tell you to go back on YouTube, punch in True Wine Connoisseurs, and just look at the episodes. You can see the fruition of how it gradually grew. Like, yeah, it's a lot
I
of funny
will.
episodes. We've actually shot a pilot for a network. I can't really talk about that right now, but we've shot a pilot.
Congratulations. I
Yeah,
love it.
yeah, we shot it in Long Island at a winery. So you know, like it's coming into place, and the good thing about it is, for me personally, is that I'm learning as I'm going. You understand? I'm
Yes,
open to learning, and I just felt good that we just didn't get some bottles and slap our name on it, and that
sure.
was the brand. Like every brand we put out, we've had an actual hand in.
Yes, that amazing. And so we are going to have to do another where we can have a tasting and
Oh yeah.
actually share with everyone how the blends are, especially when you get that orange, because I'm all about the glow.
Mm-hmm.
My name actually means orange in other countries. So
Okay.
that part, when I saw, I was truly drawn to have you all gotten that blend together. And I'll share a couple of other things with you a little later.
Mm-hmm.
But I do congratulate you guys on what you have done with the True Wine Connoisseur brand. And as he stated, guys, please check out the True Wine Connoisseurs on YouTube.
Yep. And
Let's
and the
see.
Instagram page,
Yes.
definitely.
Oh, and it has an Instagram page as well.
Yes.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
That is so great. Now just segueing into hip hop, the influences that you had as you started in hip hop, what were they or who were they?
Well, you know, my influences go back to like some of the first rappers, but also to because you know hip hop came out of soul music. See, hip hop came out of originally out of a need for black and brown kids to do something in New York City. You got to understand this was about it came out well. Kool Herc had the first hip hop party in 1970, but during those early 70 years, you know, especially in the Bronx, there were no programs going on. The Cross Bronx Way had been built, which made a whole wide path through what was a kind of a black, nice middle class. So
Sure.
the landlords were sitting on the buildings and burning them down. Our president Jimmy Carter came to the Bronx, and that was one of the first places that FEMA was declared. So it was really no programs going on. So hip hop birthed out of that, and being that it birthed out of that, it birthed out of what was listened to at the time. James Brown, you know, was a heavy influence. Parliament was a heavy influence. Groups like that, even Marvin Gaye, it came out of their soul, and we just took it to the streets. It came into the streets. Some of my early influences were people like Grandmaster Caz, from the Cold Crush Brothers, like Melly Mel. You understand? Run DMC, definitely. Because in hip hop, see, like when hip hop first came out, like you'd watch Africa Bambaataa and Soul Sonic 4, those groups would be dressed like groups of the day. Like they would be dressed like the Parliament and different groups with those type of clothes on. What attracted me really to Run DMC is because they were really the first hip hop group that came out in the clothes that I wore.
That you
Lee
want to wear.
suits, Pumas, Adidas. So special credence goes to Run DMC because I feel like once they came out, I was like, all right, it can happen now. Like they got the same clothes I got on. A lot of other groups, Grandmaster Flash, the Furious Five, the Funky Four, like they wore what I was wearing.
Yes, yes, that actually worked well. And I know that you mentioned in one of your lyrics that Al Green was another that you
Oh
wanted to
yeah, that was a staple in the
Yes,
house. I mean, who people didn't clean the house on a Saturday or Sunday with Al Green in the background? You
yes,
understand? So
yes.
you know those groups like Soul Train was the social media. You understand? That was my social media soul train. Like I couldn't just punch up and see Al Green. So to see those groups on TV was a monumental occasion. I remember one time the Jackson Five came on TV. I think it was
Oh,
on a Tonight
oh,
Show or something, and that had to be like
yes,
11:30, where I was woken up to watch that. You understand? I was a kid, but I understood the importance of me getting up to actually see that. Like that
yes.
was
You
history. You
got
know?
to watch it. Yes.
Definitely.
Listen, I tell the story. My parents, I was going to a concert with my mother and we had a flat tire. And I was like, I don't know how we're going to make this, but I'm going to hitchhike. I was 5 years old. I'm going to hitchhike if you all don't figure it out because I
Uh-huh.
am not missing the
I hear
concert.
you. That's what I'm talking about. Like that was a big thing. So we kind of held it in a little more esteem because it wasn't
Yes.
as readily available as the music is nowadays.
Absolutely. Well, we respected it. And it was definitely, I guess it was more of a source of an outlet. We didn't
Yeah,
have all of the things that they have today for that. So music was that outlet
yeah,
outside of, maybe some, fellowshipping, if you will, with friends or whatever at the mall or whatever. But
exactly,
music was definitely that thing. And growing up with all kinds of music. Um,
definitely.
felt well. And so that was why I was so excited as we were talking, and even creating Champagne and Conversations. It was to be able to lean in to you all, the legends, the ones that pioneered through all of the 90s, even 80s to
Yeah,
90s, to be able to create, to develop such an art, the music that we grew up on, that we party to. And listen, I went to Virginia State and Virginia State University. I'm in Virginia. So we had
Petersburg. I know
everyone.
Petersburg. Yeah,
Yes.
Alamo went to Virginia State, and my sister went to Virginia State.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. So New York was the thing. So it was
Oh
either
yeah.
New York or DC, right? It was
Hmm.
split down the middle when it
Oh yeah.
came to who attended. But when the gym jams happened, the party was brand Nubian.
Oh
Let's
yeah.
get it real. And so
Definitely.
New
Though
York
I'm not
was
mad at
it.
the DC though. I know once you hear "Wind Me Up," Chuck, with the
But it
thunder.
just depended. Like you
Yeah.
already knew what the energy was going to be. This is
Oh
a
yeah.
New York party.
Yeah.
Whoever the promoter was, whatever it was, you knew this is what that party was going to be.
No
And Brand
question.
Nubian was essential.
Yeah, we did a lot of shows in that Virginia
Yes,
area. Definitely Virginia,
yes,
North Carolina was a big brand new being breeding ground.
yes. So when I could play Hey Baby Your Hips, and I hate to play it now with the quarantine because they literally are getting a little big, but but that was the party starter. And even just going back and looking at some of your interviews and even some of the references that people have made, that particular album was one that was an essential album in all the rotation for DJs.
No
So
question.
congratulations on that. I do believe that you all celebrated your anniversary for that album, but it was last year, right
Yeah,
before
last year,
probably, yeah,
definitely.
COVID.
Hmm.
So congratulations on that. Super dope. And I will say that I know you come from a background of education with both your parents as well as you are in education. You made me do my homework.
All
I will
right.
admit it
Hmm.
because I stopped, or at least I thought I was stopping at that point. Like, okay, I know this music, I'm good, I can talk through it. And then I started turning the pages and turning the pages, and it was this music and that
Yeah.
album and independent and or your solo albums. And I was like, oh my gosh. And then the wine, of course.
Yeah.
It was so much music.
Yeah.
So thank you for that. Thank you for
Thank
your
you.
contribution to the culture. I will say that. And I won't limit our conversation here to any particular project. But was there a favorite that you had out of everything that you've done?
I would have to say my Wild Cowboys album because see that was my solo album. I was living back in the Bronx then, so that album was 90% Bronx. It was Digging in the Crates crew basically. Diamond did a couple of tracks, Showbiz, Minnesota, Father Time. I had Money Boss on it, my man Sean Black. So and plus it was approving because now I had to stand on my own. So
Yes.
I had to put extra special work into it because see a lot of times when you're in a group, you can kind of fall back a lot of times because you know on a song it's going to be three parts, and you just got to be accountable for your one part or what have you. But on
True.
an album, a solo album, you have to be responsible for whole songs. So that kind of made me work, and it made me kind of carve out my niche in this game, and I think that's part of the reason why I'm still here today. I just went to the studio today earlier and did some music.
Fantastic. And of course I was going to ask, as we kind of tapped into it at the beginning, as you were segueing into you want to get back outside and you want to get into New York, were there any plans for a reunion performance, or are you going to just totally do some solo
Well,
performances?
we
What is the
never
plan?
stopped doing Brand Nubian shows. We always have done Brand Nubian shows, so I will definitely continue with that. Continue with doing shows in New York and across the country. But I'm really missing the shows that we used to do in Europe because see now the spring is coming.
Nice.
So like for a lot of artists like myself, older artists like that, Europe lane is a lane that's remained open for the past 30 years.
And they
So
love hip hop.
and plus just going like the experience of just going to other places like I can go places sometimes. See, I work in a hospital now, and I
Yes.
see some of the doctors and this and that, and like they're amazed when I can explain to them. Well look, I've been to Germany maybe 20 times. I've been to Japan, Tokyo maybe 10 times. I'm Russia, Croatia, so Moscow, St. Petersburg. So for me to go and see these people and see their perspective on life and how they live. Like some of these people, I got friends from Germany, England, places that I'm still friends with 25 years now. That I would have been out there to see this year. So I kind of miss that, the travel, just seeing a different culture, and performing,
The
definitely.
culture has culture. That's
Yeah,
what you were saying to them. Yes, I
definitely.
understand what's going on out here. And
And
so,
what's crazy, not to cut you off, but like
no, no, go
to,
ahead.
to, to go out to these places and see people, but then also see people, brown people. We everywhere. We are everywhere. We in
Everywhere,
places that I
everywhere.
in Moscow, Russia, uh, in Denmark, and Finland. Like we are everywhere, literally
Yes,
everywhere. We have put our roots down, and it's always a pleasure to see one of my brothers somewhere because we always have that connection where we have to look at each other for a minute to make sure it's real,
yes,
and be like, all right, let me go speak to the brother.
yes, yes. But it also should feel good to be so well received
Yeah.
abroad. Yes. And I know that after so much work, and obviously you're still putting in the work because you mentioned a new project. Now, is that like a Wild Cowboys part 2 that you're going to be fusing into the process?
Well, I did a Wild Cowboys part two maybe like 10 years ago. Like this is just gonna be a continuation of what I've been doing. Like I'm
Okay.
getting ready to do a project. I got to start and really buckle down and start actually recording and coming up with the topics with an album with Ninth Wonder. But like I said, like
Okay, nice.
I just released an album with somebody named Aguilar. The guards is still here, and like every year I've put something out. So my catalog is definitely, definitely,
It's
definitely thick.
crazy. The catalog is crazy. And I mean, I know you mentioned Wild Cowboy was your actual favorite album. Was there a favorite track on that you loved more than any of the others?
Probably Stages and Lights because I just like the overall flow of the song, the beat, and I was able to do a video for that. So like that's probably my top favorite song.
Okay. And so, as it relates to your lyrical influences, what do you tap into? Because I noticed that there's a progression. You mentioned that you looked at some of your other influences as you all began. And then, like you said, one verse didn't really require as much. You put your heart and soul into that, and then you could kind of defer to someone else to finish off the song. But now, when you're doing your solo album, then like you said, all the energy has to come from somewhere. And where is that energy coming from?
I think my energy comes from the love that I still actually love hip hop. I can still listen to a song
Love.
somebody else did and be like, damn, I wish I would have made that. Or damn, that was hot. I wish I'd have did that. So it's still my love for it.
Okay.
Understand? And I think that transcends itself into the lyrics, into the
Absolutely.
music. Like I genuinely still love to do this. Like even if it wouldn't have been no money in it, I would have had a job doing something else and did it on the side because my love for it is as such.
Yes. And so with the pivoting that we've all had to do, and I, again, know that you have mentioned that you're at the hospital, but you also have a basketball background that
Oh yeah,
has been amazing, and just watching the career with that. And I have a love for basketball just
yeah.
from my father coaching and now my son playing. So what about your basketball? Do you coach any like teams
Well,
right now, or what are you doing with that?
I haven't coached in a while. I haven't coached since I came down here. I did coach in New York for a while at a program called Riverside Church, and out of that program over the years, we turned out Lamar Odom, Ron Artest, players like that, Elton Brand, and that program. See, I came up in that AAU program when before it was all these teams, and now the AAU thing is so filled up, like it's almost like it's
Crazy.
in a league of its own. But when I came up in New
Yes.
York, you had Riverside Church, you had the Gauchos, and maybe two or three other teams, and you had to be able to play.
Yeah.
It wasn't like like it is now. Like it wasn't any prima donnas. You knew that if you didn't come to practice, somebody might take your spot.
Right.
So you really had to play. It wasn't no treatment, preferential treatment, or anything like that. So, I did play through high school, and I did go. First, I went to Northeast Louisiana. That's a division. I played Division One. I played Division One, and then I went. I didn't stay there. I went to Howard for a while and to Dell
Okay.
State, and then the music kicked in. But like at Howard, I lived in Cook Hall. My dorm was right over the football field, so I could look at the game from the dorm room. So, I did play basketball. I haven't played in a while, and I haven't coached in a while, but I still enjoy watching it, and
Yes.
still love the game. Definitely.
They'll love the game. And now, do you find a similarity between the energy in basketball and the energy in the music that you do?
Yeah, that's why you always see basketball players with rappers and vice versa, because it's a street energy, and it thrives off the street. Basketball dudes thrive off the street, the love, the crowd, the music. And 9 times out of 10, when you go to these basketball games, especially in the summertime or out in the hood sometime, the music that you're going to hear is hip hop
Hip
music.
hop.
You're not going to hear country music or no
You
rock
got it.
music in between. You're going
Yeah.
to hear hip hop music, and that coincides with itself. And and that's why it's like a lot of rappers that could ball, like Cam could ball, Davies, what I'm saying, Mason them could ball, like they was real ballers, like
Yeah.
balling for real. Like
Yeah.
Davies went to Townsend State, that's a Division 1 school,
Hmm.
so like it's always been that correlation. Rappers like I've recorded with Shaq before, Chris
Oh,
Webber,
Shaq.
so it is what it is, definitely.
Yes, the energy is definitely there, and I love it. And as it relates to the culture expanding, so it's not just limited to one. You can actually still experience the art and multifacets of what you're actually taking part in. And I think that it's
Definitely.
amazing that you were able to pivot, like you stated before. And I thought that that was a big part of even being in COVID, talking to the pioneers and being able to find out what did you do in the time that we were kind of at pause and figuring out what is the next thing. So you being in the studio, you actually developing a wine, creating a wine podcast, or even an actual show. Actually, it's not even a podcast.
Yeah.
I think that all of that is definitely, thank you, thank you, thank you, and congratulations for being able to be able to do all of the things and adding to your portfolio, if you will,
Yeah,
of
and
things
it's
that you.
like this past year has forced me to even reinforce each of those steps, because see, now that
So
it wasn't no shows, you still had to figure out a way to survive in this world.
yep,
And from what I'm seeing, like a lot of what I see with it, you either came out of it for the better or for the worse. You understand? Like a lot of people I know, they didn't take action. Like I saw this thing coming kind of ahead of time, and I took action because see, we came up also, if you listen to Brand Nubian, under the teachings of the 5% Nation, that's the
yes, I
nation of
heard you
gods and
speaking to that.
earths,
Mm-hmm.
which believed that we was our own spiritual gods, and we that was the first thing we was taught to do is for self and do the knowledge to things. You understand? And make what you anything you think of with the proper thinking, with the proper effort, and with the proper know-how, you can manifest it. You understand?
Yes,
So
come
when this
on
was
with it.
going on, I thought of what could I do right now to make a little money that I still like. I said, well, the medical field is something that's going to always be around. That's what I teach to a lot of these kids when I used to teach. You need to specialize in something. You need to have a field that's going to always
Sure.
be around. Something
Yes.
you like though. So I went into this. I started at patient transport. It was cool. I'm at Duke University Hospital. Meanwhile, I'm over there just making contacts, being cool, rising up. Now I'm doing the I'm studying for sterile processing. I'm already in over there. They would say, listen, if you choose to stay, we don't know what you're gonna do once the music come around, but if you choose to stay, you do have a spot here. You
That's
understand? It's
dope.
just basically by making the right contacts,
Yes.
uh, doing what I do. I saw that that we had to step it up with the wine. I stepped up with the wine. I have brand Nubian merchandise. So it's just moving. We should always have at least, they say 7 streams of income, but if you can get 7 streams, get some streams of income,
Yes.
because
Yes.
and people that didn't do that, I get kind of upset because you had enough time. It's not like you didn't have enough time.
Right.
You
Right.
understand? So it was on you. A lot of people, even though this pandemic was definitely not good, conspiracy or not conspiracy, people died. You either, if you didn't thrive and see through this thing, that didn't motivate your will, I don't know what will.
That's right. That's right. Because just you even explaining it gave me a little bit more life. So I don't know how people just kind of sat on it and worry as opposed to using that to be able to leverage into something else.
That's right.
Now, being in the medical field and obviously being at one of the most prominent hospitals, Duke Hospital, what have you heard or what is your take on the vaccination?
Well, we at Duke, it was strongly suggested that we take the vaccination, and I might not would have taken it if I wasn't working in a hospital, because see, a lot of times I had to work directly on that floor, and a lot of times, you come into contact with that. I have a 6 month at home
I
and an
know,
83-year-old
beautiful
mother. So
baby
those are
girl.
two things that was in
Oh,
the house that I was not willing to take at risk. Now, I got a lot of flack from people, this or that. I would say, well, listen, I worked in a hospital. I challenge you to come with me on one of my tours, especially when we go up on that 5th floor, and you go up on there without that vaccination or something to help you. Now, I don't know the lasting out effects of it. Nobody does yet. But at the time, I felt that that's what I needed to do, and I did it. Some of the Muslims got on me. I told them, listen, I wouldn't have taken it, but yo, give me the address to Chicago. I got a whole stack of bills right here. I can send those out to y'all, and y'all take care of them. If you're not taking care of these bills for me and not offering me another solution, then you just got to fall back. I respect everybody's decision, but like I said, I work in a hospital. You understand? And it's definitely, it's real. I've seen people coming with no underlying circumstances. I've seen a guy coming who went to the gym all the time, who got on us for smoking and doing this and that, and he passed away from it. So like it pick and chose in a in a
yes.
cruel way who it chose to affect, and it was a bad thing. It was a
It
bad
was a
thing.
bad thing and it still is
It
a
is
bad thing.
definitely.
And I've had several conversations about it. Now, did you get the Pfizer or the Moderna?
I got the Pfizer one. That's what we had at Duke. I think that was the one that came out first.
Yes, that's the one
Yeah,
that
that's
came
what
out
we had,
first.
and we had ours like, I guess within, because since we was considered first line, and Duke got some money, so we had actually had ours like, I guess whenever they said you could get it, might have had ours like a couple of days later. So
Yes. Did you have
definitely.
any side effects from it?
No, I didn't have, me personally, I didn't have any. I didn't have
Okay.
any side effects. Um, I feel fine. I still try to stay on my gym routine. I try to get in the gym, do some sort of exercise at least 4 or 5 days a week.
Okay.
Try to eat right. I try to eat better, per
Yes.
se. I'm trying to get on my vitamin routine, and
Yes.
just trying to. It made me get a little bit more aware health wise. And
Yep.
I tell you one thing, I bet you people do now. I bet you people wash their hands a little bit more. This is definitely,
We
I
gonna
mean,
do a
I tell
whole
you,
lot of things that we didn't do.
hey, listen, I wash my hands working in the hospital. We have to,
Yes,
I wash my hands upwards of 50
me
times a
too.
day,
I'm
easily.
such a
Easily.
germaphobe.
Yeah,
Like OCD is bad.
easily. Hmm.
But I understand that. I actually had the Moderna and I just had the second shot Saturday.
Okay.
So I did have some side effects from it, but
Okay.
again, it was 24 hours, probably. Well, it probably wasn't even 24 hours. I probably had about a 12-hour episode of
Mm-hmm.
things going on. But I'm still here, people. I'm still
Yeah.
here. Everything is fine. I'm back to normal. But but I guess it's better than, the full gamut. So at this
Mm-hmm.
point, it's necessary to consider. I'm not gonna get here and
Yeah,
say
I'm not. Hey,
everybody
listen.
has to
If
go.
if I didn't work at the hospital, I might not have taken it. But being that I did, hastened my choice. You understand? And now, I mean, granted, this is going to be a strange thing behind it because now they getting ready. They starting to talk about if you don't have the vaccine,
That's
you're not going
it.
to be
That's
able
the
to
next
travel and
thing.
this and that. And
Yes,
it's a messed up thing, but at least I'll be able to travel and make money. I mean, if they're going to
it.
change it around, hopefully they'll change it around. But I know I'll be able to move around like I need to.
That's it, because they are going to require that as a passport, it seems.
Mm-hmm.
So, absolutely. And especially if your site is set on abroad, it's going to be
Yeah.
so very necessary. And I
Mm-hmm.
think that, it's something to consider. I mean,
Definitely.
obviously, not everybody had the same view at the beginning, but more and more as we hear what's necessary, it seems to me that it'll be like what we had to do with going to school,
Yeah.
chicken
Exactly.
pox, measles shots, all of that good stuff. It'll just be one more that you got to check the box
There
on
you
the
go.
vaccinations. And for your baby girl, when she gets ready for school, that kind of thing, it'll be there.
Exactly.
So yeah, I'm so happy to have been able to talk to you from a medical perspective as well, because very often, we see one side, we see hip hop, we see industry in that regard, but for you to have had so many other areas to be able to touch into, I commend you for being so available and able to talk to us about the medical part of it, because of course people are looking for some comfort, some guidance, some understanding on, and some in your take, they feel like, okay, well, you're like me, so you tell me what you think.
Yeah.
And so with that, it gives them the ability to maybe rest a little bit better.
And I would also tell, as in working in the hospital, especially to my black men that's getting up of older age, make sure you stay on top of your health. Get your prostate checked,
Facts.
your colonoscopy, because those things are preventive. I've seen people that have gotten it that have caught certain things at the right time, and then I've seen people who came in later, black men, and it was too late. And I can understand the fear and trepidation because as black men, we don't like to really go to the doctor too much, and I don't want this dude touching on me and this and that. But a lot of time we got to suck that up for health's
That's
sake and then get
right.
it done.
Let go of the ego and get it done. So
Get it done.
and I say usually once you've done it for the year, you've done it for the year.
Yeah,
You
basically.
don't have to worry with it. So at
That's
least you
right.
can rest assured, well, at least this year I got myself covered, and then,
That's right.
see what goes on from there. So absolutely. Moving into your next project, who would you like to work with? Who would be like your number one?
It's some young guys that I'm gonna try to reach out to. Benny the Butcher, Conway, and West Side Gun, the Griselda boys. Um, Definitely gonna do something with the Jizza from the Wu Tang Clan.
Okay.
My man Craig G and AG from Showbiz and AG. Those will probably be. But then some of the younger guys too. J Cole. I like 21 Savage. I like definitely a lot of them. It's just that now there is so many of them. The volume that comes out, I can't keep up with them. My daughter knows them, but I really can't because it's new ones coming out every day, and some of the music I like, but by the time I can get to knowing who it is, it's another whole movement
It's
going
enough.
on.
Whether they say the babies, little baby, this baby,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
baby.
all that's and I like them, and it's just that I don't they it's so many, the volume is so much that I just tell you, be wise with what you're doing, save your money, pay your taxes.
That's it. That's it. Versus, are you ready for the Method Man and Redman battle?
Yeah, well, coming off of this Ron Isley, this Isley Brothers Earth, Wind and Fire thing, that was really fire. But I'm definitely ready for the Meth and Red. That should be classic, definitely
Yes,
classic.
yes. Would you do a versus?
I would. I mean, I would. But if I did one, it would probably be with the group. I think we could do more volume with the group, and then do certain of our solo songs from out of the group angle.
Yeah, I think it would be dope. Who would you battle?
I don't know. I would have to go probably with somebody comparable, and I wouldn't even say it would be a battle, but it would be
Yeah,
just
yeah.
to go back and forth because these dudes I love. Maybe with Boot Camp Click, being that I seen them come out, Buckshot and all them, Tech and Steel, where that would be
Ah,
kind of the same era as ish, and like we could go back and forth. They got enough volume, we got enough volume. Plus those is like my little brothers, so that would be really cool.
well, you put it out there. Let's see what the universe responds to. Let's hope that maybe we can see a brand Nubian battle. That would be dope. We need the 90s era
Yeah.
in the mix as much as possible because this hip hop definitely gave us, my generation, I don't even know what we call us, generation, whatever it is. We got the life, we got the energy from it, and definitely used it during COVID. It was such a motivation to be able to listen to that music and just kind of lean back towards it to keep some sort of optimism going, some
Yeah,
hope,
because
some
like
excitement.
in hip hop, and I tell people this a lot of time in hip hop. If you look at hip hop in comparison to other forms of music, classical music, this and that, you've got classical compositions that are Chopin, Beethoven, Stravinsky that are 150 years old, 200 years old. Whereas hip hop comparable is about, I give it take it the most 60 years. So I think hip hop is still defining itself. You got that old school chamber. You've gotten the chamber after that, Big Daddy Kane, Run DMC, LL Cool J. Then we came along, maybe Brand Nubian, Tribe Called Quest. Then Boot Camp, Click, this Click, and on up. Biggie and Pac and on up. Whereas I think maybe from 100 years from now, 150 years from now, you'll have people coming up where they'll be able to pick and choose from what chamber they like. They might like this chamber currently
I was
right
gonna
now
say, won't it
and
be
pick
dope to
this
still
chamber.
be digging in the
Yeah,
crates?
they might pick my chamber or they might go back even further. So I
Yeah.
think in terms of music, even though I don't sometimes don't like some of it, it's just that we are on the beginning cusp of it where we are actually in the forming stage of hip hop still. It's only 60 years old. So it's still forming itself.
Yes, dope. I love it. I thank you so much, Sadat X, for
No
sharing
question.
your time, your wisdom, your wine with us on Champagne and Conversations. We will definitely have you back for a part two
No
where we will
problem.
have the wine glasses flying
Oh yeah,
and
yeah. I'll be ready next time. I'll be
we'll
ready.
have a good time.
No question.
And we will hear some new music. I'm hoping
Yes,
also by the time you return. I know you're in the studio, and this is a good
definitely.
time for that, weather changing and all of that. But you and your family be blessed.
Thank you.
Stay safe. We definitely appreciate you, and we'll look for new projects and amazing things in the future. Thank you so much for joining Champagne and Conversations.
Thank y'all and
Thank
thank
you.
you. No problem. Peace.